Hey guys, Bob here, Raw Strength and Muscle. I did a True Fan Tuesday Q&A about testosterone replacement earlier this week. There were a couple questions that I missed that came in right before I filmed it, and I've gotten a couple questions since then. So let's go ahead and do a part 2 of the TRT Q&A. Okay, here's one of the questions that I missed. From KC, what do you think about TRT for women? Does it cause hair loss? Okay, so first of all, I will tell you about the hair loss real quick. I don't know if you're asking about hair loss for women using hormone replacement or not or whatever, but I will say this, testosterone does not cause hair loss, okay? Some people may react in a way that if they are already genetically predetermined to male pattern baldness, that it will accelerate it, okay? Like if your hair is going to fall out anyway, it may fall out faster if you take testosterone. But like I said, this is not like some DHT-based steroid, and it's not grams on grams of testosterone. We're talking like a very small replacement amount of normal bioidentical testosterone. So like I said, it's not really going to have that much of an effect. And if it does, it just accelerates what's going to happen anyway. I mean, I got some pretty good hair. I'm going to turn 48 by the time that this video is actually published. Okay. I knew guys when I was in high school, they're like 16, 17, had receding hairlines, thinning hair, okay? My grandfather, as I've said before, my mother's father, which is where your hair genetics supposedly comes from, died with a full head of lush hair. So I just don't have this problem, and TRT certainly hasn't changed anything. Now let's go ahead and talk about TRT for women. I wouldn't call it TRT for women. I would call it HRT, or hormone replacement for women. Testosterone replacement is basically just testosterone or maybe a couple ancillaries, like a couple extra, like over the counter, or a couple of extra, prescription medications that go along to support testosterone. Whereas hormone replacement can be anything. And I will tell you that that hormone replacement is really important for women, okay? My ex now girlfriend, okay, when I first met her, okay, she was already exercising, she was already eating keto, and she was already on hormone replacement, which made it awesome for me because like I didn't have to explain why I'm sitting in the bathroom with like a belt around my arm as a tourniquet, jabbing my syringes into my veins and stuff, and I didn't have to answer any questions. She's like, oh yeah, I'm on hormone replacement too, okay? So it was pretty cool that like I had somebody who understood everything about it. I'll tell you, okay, when I was with her, okay, like the very first, time that we met, like her back and her stomach had like, it was like very lean, and it was like very like defined. She didn't have this thick turtle shell like I have in my back, and she didn't have like these rippling abs like I've got, like this massive muscle definition, but she had like very hard muscles in her back and her stomach, which, I noticed. Now, women tend to have less fat on their back and less fat on their stomach than men do, but still, like, she was in really good shape. And, she's like, I'm 48 now. She was, like I said, she was like in her middle 40s, end of her 40s when I met her. So, like that was impressive. Okay. Of course, the rest of her body, like her arms were toned and her legs and her ass and everything were toned. Okay. Sex drive was excellent. I have an extremely high sex drive, and even before testosterone replacement, her sex drive was great. Okay. And like I said, I mean, she just basically was like me, okay? She worked her ass off into the gym. She dieted on keto, had like a perfect diet, but she got the results from that she would not otherwise have had. Now, her particular story with hormone replacement is she used to weigh like 165 pounds. When I met her, she weighed like 130, 135 pounds. And what she said is she was working out every day. She was eating keto, doing strength training in the gym. And then like almost every day during the week, she was kicking a heavy bag, like doing kickboxing in her garage. Okay. And she still weighed 160 pounds. So when she went to the doctor, what he basically said was her thyroid levels were off, okay? And this is where we're talking about hormone replacement, not testosterone replacement. He checked her blood values, like her general health markers, He checked her testosterone, her estrogen, her progesterone, her prolactin, everything. And he also checked her thyroid, okay? And it found out that her thyroid was weak. So she was already had a perfect diet. She already was kicking ass in the gym. She already was doing cardio. And when she jumped on the thyroid medication, she dropped those like 30, 35 pounds like really quickly. Okay. When I knew her, she used to get bloods drawn like every 3 months because she actually went to like an in-person doctor who specialized in hormones or anti-aging. So when she went there like every 3 months, sometimes she would just gain like, 2, 3, 5 pounds for no reason. Didn't eat more, didn't eat junk food, didn't stop working out, just the weight just came. Went there, got her blood drawn. Okay, we need to change some of your medications a little bit. Okay. Basically, like I said, she had thyroid problems, so she was on thyroid. She took testosterone very rarely. She took like a fraction of what I take, and she took it like every 3 weeks. Okay. Progesterone, I think she took. She actually had high estrogen. Okay. So basically, the bottom line is she took like a bunch of over-the-counter supplements like DIM. She took prescription testosterone, and she took prescription thyroid medication, okay? And, like I said, the thing about women that I've noticed is like andropause for a man, when you like your testosterone levels or androgens go down, andropause in a man means basically you kind of wither away. Like you're like a vibrant young man, and then you just kind of slow down, you get a little more depressed, and you get a little bit less outgoing, and you get a little bit fatter, and you get a little bit weaker and whatever, and you kind of slowly fade away. With women, a couple of things happen. Like they sometimes become bitches when they go through menopause. Sometimes they just blow up and get fat when they go through menopause. So like I said, I mean, a lot of women, they have low estrogen. My ex, for some reason, she had high estrogen. Okay, so basically, like I said, hormone replacement, if you get a really good doctor taking care of you, will completely change your life as a woman. And I completely 100% recommend it. Like I said, I'm 48 now, I'm pushing 50. All my friends are around 50. I know some 50 plus women that are absolutely positively drop dead gorgeous. They're vibrant, they're healthy. They can carry a grocery bag through the goddamn supermarket and stuff. Sexy, everything's great about them, and they're going to a hormone replacement doctor, and they're getting everything checked and everything put up to be optimized. Yes, they exercise, some of them ride bikes, some of them work out, whatever, but the bottom line is they have bodies at like, let's say, 58 years old that like an 18-year-old doesn't have, okay? And like I said, it's not that, I take these drugs and all of a sudden I'm awesome. No, you take these drugs, and what they do is they allow you to get the results that you would have from riding a bike, going to the gym, doing whatever, if you were 18 years old and you had perfect hormones. Okay, we got a question from John. Hey bro, my testosterone level is 240 nanograms per deciliter, and I just started TRT with 200 mgs every 2 weeks for 2 months, and then the doctor would increase it to 400 mgs every 2 weeks. Question is TRT with the doses I mentioned really beneficial with gaining muscles and losing weight? Okay, so let me just go ahead and say what I always say. It doesn't help you do anything, okay? All it does is support you, okay? I mean, think of it like this. If you eat enough protein and if you eat the right number of calories, you still have to go to the gym. Okay, the difference is if you go to the gym and you don't have proper sleep, proper nutrition, proper hydration, okay, you're not going to be able to recover. You need the protein to build your muscles. You need to keep the calories low to keep yourself lean. You need to keep the calories high enough to build muscle, okay? So you don't get anything like, I just eat this protein shake and suddenly I grow muscles. It doesn't happen like that, but it does support the work you do in the gym. And it's the same thing here when we're talking about testosterone. Like I said, sleep, hydration, electrolyte levels, macronutrients, micronutrients, and yes, hormones all need to be optimized along with your workouts for you to get the best possible results. You talk about the weakest link breaking the chain. This is it. If you, like I said, with my ex-girlfriend, if you have horrible thyroid levels and you do everything perfectly, you're going to have a hard time losing fat. Okay. If you have low testosterone levels and you do everything perfectly, you're going to have a hard time losing fat and an even harder time building muscle or strength. So this isn't like, beneficial with gaining muscles. Yes, it is, because it's going to basically make you a normal human being who will get normal human being results from going to the gym. Okay. So your testosterone level is 240 nanograms per deciliter. I'm just going to go ahead and say this. When I got my stuff tested, okay, the range for being normal was 300 to 1100. So 240, you are below normal range. You are hypogonadic. Like legitimately, according to medical science, a doctor would say that you have a condition called hypogonadism, which means your test levels are just too low. So 240, you absolutely positively should be getting testosterone replacement, okay? Now this is interesting. You get 200 mgs every 2 weeks for 2 months, and now the doctor wants to increase it to 400 mgs every 2 weeks. This is the bottom line. I don't like it when a doctor who doesn't know what he's doing messes around with hormone replacement. In my last video, I did say that you should go to a specialist, either an in-person specialist, or most people don't have access to an in-person specialist, a good online clinic where they do a really good job of assessing you with blood work and symptoms. They treat you, and then they reassess and they retreat you. Now, if you have experience with hormones, okay, with TRT, with hormone replacement, testosterone replacement, you will know you should not be injecting once a week is the bare minimum. Injecting every 2 weeks is absolute rubbish. Now, there are long esters of testosterone where you could supposedly inject once a month. Okay, it's like undecanoate, I believe, where you can, is that called Nebido maybe, where you can inject once a month, supposedly. Assuming that you're using enanthate or cypionate, you should really be injecting at least once a week, because basically what happens is you get a lot of testosterone up at once, and it does have like an ester. It means like a time release. You know, like when you take a medication or a vitamin that's time release, it doesn't hit you at once. It kind of slowly digests. An ester means you have to break down this shell, this ester, to get the testosterone inside. So it takes a while for it to come out. But it's still, you get more in the beginning and you get less towards the end. And this is, you know, it comes to something called like the emotional roller coaster, okay? Or the hormonal roller coaster. Let me go ahead and say it like this. When I was a kid, people used to say that you should drink 1 glass of red wine every day. It's good for your health. Now imagine instead of drinking 6 glasses of wine once every day during the week, or sorry, 7, once a day during the week, okay? Have a glass of wine. The next day, have a glass of wine. The next day, you don't drink any wine all week, and then you have 7 glasses all at once. You just sit down and down 7 glasses. You don't have any wine, any of the benefits, the flavonoids or whatever they're supposed to be, any of the benefits during the whole week you don't have, and then you get fucking wasted every Saturday night by drinking 7 glasses of wine at once. Okay, does that make sense? Or if this is a medical thing, shouldn't you drink 1 glass every day? Okay, 1 glass a day for 7 days instead of 7 glasses at once. You're just gonna get wasted, and the rest of the week, you're not gonna have anything, okay? You're gonna feel like shit the day after because you fucking hungover from getting wasted Saturday night on 7 glasses of wine in 1 fucking sitting, okay? It's gonna do more harm than good. And it's the same thing here, okay? If you go ahead and you take testosterone, your normal production of testosterone is going to shut down, whether it's, you know, gear PED levels or whether it's testosterone replacement. So you're not producing any testosterone, not even the, you know, 240 nanograms per deciliter. So now what's going to happen is basically you have no endogenous testosterone. You take the exogenous testosterone and your testosterone spikes, and then it comes down. So it's too high. It shouldn't be this high. And then it comes down and comes down and comes down and comes down and comes down. Then you're running on empty. So you're going to basically, you may have some like emotional things going on when it's too high. And then after that, you have emotional things going on when you're on like 0 testosterone. You're basically chemically castrating yourself. Okay. So I do not suggest you do this less than once a week. Okay. Me personally, what I did is I was told to inject once a week. I tried injecting twice a week. Instead of just Fridays, it was Mondays and Fridays. Didn't notice a difference. And then what I did to really get my estrogen in check, to get my hormone levels, my testosterone levels in check, is I started injecting, just popping my shoulder with a little tiny insulin syringe, tiny little pin. It's like a hair, popping myself in the shoulder every other day with a 1/4 cc. So basically, instead of getting a ton, okay, a week, and then, you know, being on empty by the end of the week, basically I just got a little bump to get it normal, and then went a little bit below normal, then a bump to get it up normal, and then a little below normal. So it basically stays on an even line, just like pretty much on an even line. With you taking it every 2 weeks, that's insane. And now if you take 2 cc's, that's 400, okay, 400 milligrams every 2 weeks. That's 2 cc's. First of all, that's a lot of oil to shoot into your body. That's really going to suck because it's going to stay there. You're going to have this deposit. It's just going to blow, okay? But second, you're going to jump way up with 400 mgs, and then after the first week or two, you're not going to really have shit, okay? So the second week, you're going to be going from like way the fuck high super physiological doses of testosterone down to nothing. So if your doctor is telling you to do this, like I said, maybe it's an extremely long ester that has an extremely long, kind of like a delayed reaction on it. Maybe I really, no matter what the ester, I suggest you do at least once a week injections. Okay, so I'd really be I'd be questioning my doctor if he actually knows what the fuck he's talking about. Maybe you might want to find another doctor. I'm certainly never going to say, don't do what your doctor says. I'm certainly never going to say, do this yourself, just go on the black market and get your own gear. What I am going to say, however, is if things like this come up, you need to ask him what the fuck he's thinking. And if he can't give you a decent answer, you need to go somewhere else. Okay? That's just, the bottom line. So my little suggestion to you. Okay, here's a couple questions that came in after I did the last video. From Azor. What's your opinion about all the other ways other than injecting that I see in clinics? Patches, teeth stuff, gels, and more. Is it all nonsense or is it always best to pin with a needle? Then he asks, if I'm on the low end, like 300, 400, when I'm 28 years old, what amount would I need? And is it per week, one needle from the doctor at these clinics or once a month? What amount should it be if all I want is exactly as you said, to be in the top end, 800 plus? I'm willing to pay a lot. I've heard it's 1,200 oils per month. Or does it matter where you start and where you want to be? And yes, regular blood work and a doctor I trust is all I need, or does it have to be a specific clinic? Doing it without a doctor is not an option, right? Thank you so much for the video. Okay, so let me just go ahead and say, jab yourself with a needle, okay? I mean, the bottom line is, so there's like this pellet where you could have like a pellet injection and it slowly dissolves and lets out testosterone. And I'm going to go ahead and put it like this. If for some strange reason you don't like testosterone, your body don't like testosterone, you're fucked if you inject yourself with a pellet and you can't get it out, okay? Because I'm going to tell you this. When I was living in Germany, there was a birth control thing. They call it the Stift, like a little, stick. And basically women would have this little stick, injected into like their arm, their like forearm or something, right? And it would slowly leak out hormones, okay, over months. Now, the bottom line is a lot of women didn't like that shit because a lot of them would have mood issues. A lot of them, really a whole lot of them would gain weight. They would gain weight badly, okay? Like real bad because their hormones were fucked up. But the problem is you've got this little fucking pencil, tip thing draining away and dissolving away inside of your body. You can't exactly get it out. Like, it's just in there, okay? If the girls were taking birth control pills and they had a side effect they didn't like, they're like, why am I going to take this shit no more? And it's out of their system within a couple of days, okay? If you poke yourself with a needle, good. Don't do it again. You didn't like it. It was too much. It was the wrong kind. You didn't like it for whatever reason. Bad effect. Just don't do it again. It will be gone in a certain amount of time, okay? But like I said, having something like a pellet injected, no. In terms of gels and things like that, I really do not like that whatsoever because you always hear, like I said, when I first got on this stuff, I started reading a lot in like xlmail.com. It was a really good forum, has a lot of people. Some of them are doctors, some of them are people that just been on TRT talking about hormone replacement. And they're like, yeah, my wife's pregnant or whatever, so I can't use my cream because what happens if he rubs this cream on himself and then he hugs his wife and then she gets fucking testosterone in her body, or I don't know, goddamn, your dog, your cat sits on your chest, your kid sits on your, it's like, listen, just jab yourself with a fucking needle. It's in your body. Boom. That's it. Period. End of story. Like that is the way to do it. If you fucking don't have the balls to fucking jab yourself with a needle, first of all, you probably need testosterone, like to man you up a little bit. But another thing is if you don't have the balls to jab yourself with a needle, just fix that shit. Get over that. Get your fucking wife, your girlfriend to do it. But like I said, I do not recommend at all this pump and then wipe it on your body and then hope it doesn't rub off or you don't sweat it off or wash it off and hope it absorbs and hope that nobody else gets it on them and then your wife fucking grows a mustache or some shit like that. Like I said, fucking poke yourself with a needle. That's it. Okay, if I'm on the low end, like 400 when I'm 28 years old, what amount would I need? Okay, first of all, like I said, oh, you're 28. You shouldn't be. If you have low testosterone, you're 28, you should have it more. It's more important that you get it. In my opinion, and I'm not a doctor, but in my opinion, if you're 28 years old, you already have low T, you should fucking increase it, okay? Now, 400, It's pretty normalish. It's not that bad. But like I said, I mean, if you want to, like, if you have a 28-year-old with a 400 or 300 total testosterone, and if he doubles it up to like 750, 800, he's at the top end of the spectrum. He's at twice the man that he was before. Okay, so if you have like goals in life, like, not just like I want to get big, I want to get lean. If you have goals in life, like I want to fucking go to school and grad school and become a doctor and a lawyer and a businessman and, do this and fuck a lot of women. And if you want to have like a life where you have like, where you're the best man you could be, literally, like I said, I suggest you optimize your hormones no matter how old or young you are. Okay, what amount would I need? And is it 1 week, 1 needle per week for a doctor at those clinics or once a month? I just talked about frequency, okay, in the last section, so I'm not going to get into frequency of injections again. The amount, like I said, get tested. They're going to basically make a guess about how much you need. They're going to test you again, and they're going to see if they have to increase or decrease the dosage, okay? So just whatever your doctor says, okay? I would not go to a clinic where they make me get injected there, because what happens first of all, if you're injecting, like I said, at least once a week, you need to make sure you get there at least once a week. What happens if you can't because, I don't know, your dog's getting married, or because, you're getting fired, or because you're on vacation? I mean, what are you going to do? Just not have your injection that week and then just put it off or skip one or whatever? I mean, this isn't like, fucking... this isn't something that you could just be like, oh, fuck, I'll just skip out this time. I'll miss this episode of goddamn Dancing with the Stars this week because I'm on vacation. Like, you need to be able to do this yourself, okay? So if you cannot be, if your clinic or your doctor will not trust you to get syringes and poke yourself, or have your wife or your boyfriend, whatever, poke you with them, you really need to go to another doctor, okay? Because like I said, I suggest you inject at least once a week. What happens if you have to get injected twice a week? I get injected every other day. Should I go at 9 o'clock in the morning or 6 o'clock in the morning to my doctor every other day, like on a Sunday, okay, every other day to get injected, okay? Like I said, if they don't trust you, or if you don't trust yourself to inject yourself, I really suggest you go somewhere else. Or if it's your problem, I suggest you man up. Okay, what amount should it be is all I want is exactly to get up to the 800. Like I said, you're just going to have to, they're going to make an educated guess based upon, your whatever, specifications you have, like based upon how bad it is and whatever. They're just going to go ahead and make a guess, test after a couple of months and see what your levels are. And then they're going to go from there. Okay. I don't think it should cost 1,200 euros a month. I don't live in Europe. I used to live in Germany. Okay. And, I didn't have testosterone replacement when I was in Germany. But like I said, it's like, it certainly shouldn't be, that's almost 10 times as much as you would pay in America, okay, for testosterone replacement. Anyway, so like I said, I appreciate all these questions that you guys asked me. Sorry about the guy whose questions I missed. Like I said, I just did the video and I saw the questions right after I did the video. If you have any other questions about anything else, just go ahead and post them down in the comments below. If you have any suggestions about anything, especially mindset, I'm getting a lot of guys asking about more mindset videos. So nutrition, training, mindset. If you have any questions, just go ahead and post them down below. I'll make videos about them. Aside from that, subscribe if you haven't, like the video if you like the video, and I will see you guys in the next video.